Hi everyone and welcome to a Kickstarter preview video for RollQuest. This is a game from Hercules Game Studios. It's for 3 to 6 players and it takes about 30 minutes to play. What is RollQuest? It's a light, social, improvisational role-playing game. What does that mean? Basically, everyone will have a different character that they play throughout the game, and there are a number of locations that those characters can go to and meet in. When two characters meet in a location, they have a role play against each other. They'll also get to choose what the characteristic of their character is, whether they're angry or sad, for example. They have to try and convey this during their role play, and the other player that they're role playing against has to try and guess what that characteristic is. In addition to that, there are also curses. Now, curses are cards that other players can play on you to make life more difficult. For example, you have to speak in a really high-pitched voice, or you have to rhyme every sentence that you create. So we'll take a quick look at the components. Before we go on, I should just say that the components for this game are not yet final, so there will be better components in the final version of the game. I'll go through that when I show you what's in the box. And if you want to hear more about the game, then our UKGE 2018 episode will be linked in the description below. Okay, so again, before we get started, all of these components are not final production quality. The final version of the game is going to have, for example, instead of these little pawns, it will have meeples for the characters. These will all be like cardboard punch-out components, and the cards are all going to be professionally printed, good card stock, and with some improvements to the graphic design as well. So that being said, let's take a look at what we've got. First up, obviously, we have the rules. Again, the final ones will be professionally printed. These have just been printed out. So let's look at the cards. There are different types of card. So first up, we have the different characters that everyone can be playing in the game. So we have the wizard, the innkeeper, the mayor, knight, blacksmith, or necromancer. So all the characters will choose one of those, and they all have special abilities that only that character can get. Once everyone's chosen a character, you also have to put these locations out on the table. The number of locations is dependent on the number of players, and each of these locations has got two sides. So let's just say, for example, we've got the tavern and the temple out. On the academy and town hall is the other card. You have these various role play cards. So these are the personalities that you give your character, and you have to try and convey that. So, for example, you could be playing a narcissistic necromancer or a blunt blacksmith, if you like alliteration, like I do. So those are the different personalities. You also have these treasure cards, which you get, and most of these are the curse cards, which are the pink ones. So you play these on other characters to affect their role play. For example, with the Curse of Julius Caesar, the player must speak about themselves in the third person in the next role play. So it's all things like that. The Curse of Rhyming, as that's one of my particular favourites. Very difficult to do that. And they must speak with a singing voice all the time. So you get the idea. There's also blue ones, which are like actions that let you do things to affect the game as well. So there's a few. That gives you a second guess if you guess it on the first time. So yeah, those are the treasure cards. And then we have the points. So they're all these small goblin tokens. Let's just get all these out. So we've got the player meeples, put those there. As I say, they will be actual meeples in the final version of the game. And you have all of these little tokens for tracking how many points you've got. So, yeah, if you look at the rules, it says here that the roleplay phase is very straightforward. Both players select a card and act one of the 3 personality traits. Obviously, they keep that secret so the players can't see it. A third player will then look at where the characters are and they'll set a scene. So they might say, for example, the necromancer and the wizard are both in the temple, but they're trying to worship different gods and they don't both like that. So they have an argument with each other. So that's the scene that they have to role play. And yeah, you get a minute to role play. There is a card that doubles the role play time. I think it's is it the academy? Yeah, role-play interactions last 2 minutes instead of 1 minute, so that's fun. And yeah, you just do that. Players guess. If a player guesses correctly, both players, the one acting and the one who guessed what they were acting, gains 2 points and a treasure card. And also, if the colour of the word that they played, so if they played corrupt, for example, and that's a red character with a red word, then they get an extra point for that as well. So the other thing is, only 2 players can be in a location at any one time. So if you're playing with an odd number of players, when everyone moves in, there will usually be 1 player left over. So in that situation, that player can choose another one of the characters to move into their location, and then they'll do a role play with them as well. And yeah, there you go. That's a basic look at the rules and the components. As I say, there's a list of everything that we've got in the game. So proper meeples, and obviously the art is all going to be improved. And yeah, there you go. That's a look at the components. So we've seen the components. What do I think about RollQuest? Now, people who listen to our show will know I'm not a very big role player. In fact, I don't play role-playing games at all. That being said, I found this incredibly easy to get into. The people I played with weren't role players either, and there was even one guy who said, you know, I don't do role play of any kind, I'm not going to enjoy this. And actually he really started to get into it, you know. I think it's great. The improv element sort of reminds me of TV shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where they give you a scene and characteristics, and you know, they just have to make stuff up based on that. And so yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think that even people who don't have a role play background like myself will find this game a lot of fun. So yeah, the game's currently live on Kickstarter. If this sounds like something you would enjoy and you want to back it, then I'll put a link to that in the description below. If you want to find out a little bit more about the game, then as well as the official website, which again will be linked below, we did an interview with the guys at Hercules Game Studios at the Expo this year, so I'll put a link to that in the description as well. So that's it. Thanks for watching this preview video for RollQuest, and we'll see you for our next video. Bye.